Welcome to Four Calling Birds podcast, honest conversations that give us all a voice.
Welcome to the Easter Bake-Along special edition of Four Calling Birds. Participating in the kitchen are Natalie Spence, singer and actress.
Oh, I've got a hot cross bun!
Meredith Hepner-Chapman, PR guru.
We've got a couple of tits that do that.
Hayley Clapham, voiceover artist.
I'm always getting a box of goodies off my dad.
And me, Stephen Carter-Bailey, resident agony uncle and bake-off queen. Welcome to this week's episode of Four Calling Birds. We are live in our kitchens, I should say. So we've set up a sort of a Zoom-esque style bake-along. Now, Meredith and I have done this before.
Yes, which is amazing why you would want to do it again.
I didn't want to do it again, Meredith. You did insist we do it.
Well, I thought it'd be nice for Easter.
Okay. Well, so in the spirit of what will be Easter coming up, we have decided to make a no-bake, no-fuss, little involvement cheesecake. So Meredith can join in.
Yes.
Are we all ready to go?
No mini eggs in the supermarket.
Oh.
Well, apologies to the person in the supermarket who received Meredith's wrath for no mini eggs. So shall we start, ladies? So,
yes.
Like I said, this is a very simple recipe. I keep recipes simple like this because I always like novices and children to be involved, and Meredith's. So we're going to start with 250 grams of Digestive biscuits, which we have crushed up. Now, I used what I had
Cheap
available.
ones as well.
We did cheapy ones, yeah. So we just used a saucepan and like Hayley's doing there with the rolling pin, just crush them up. Now, it doesn't matter that there are these little bits in there. Can you see? We're not worried about those. Just tiny little 1 centimetre lumps. But
Yeah,
we
there's
want
lumpy bits.
Well, that's fine. We've all got lumpy bits. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Well, the majority of the time.
Sand, then.
Sand.
Some more
Wet
than others.
sand.
Yes.
And
Okay, lovely.
What we've got here is some butter, unsalted butter. Here we go, Meredith. Sorry, I'm taking over already. Pour
So
that
I'm
in.
pouring
for me.
this into the biscuit.
Yeah, and we've pre-melted this. Now, it doesn't have to be like liquid like we've got it, but
Is the Biscoff going in the melted butter?
you can do. Are you adding Biscoff to
We
yours?
haven't got
Okay.
I'm going to add
Love
Biscoff in.
Biscoff.
there
Oh my
you go.
gosh. Is this a teaspoon? A tablespoon?
That's
Does
about
it-
a pint.
Oh, right.
Giant's table.
Yeah, that'll do. It's just to get some flavour.
Not a heaped tea.
When I first tried Biscoff spread, and I know it's stupid, but it is really Biscoffy, isn't it?
Yeah,
It
it's-
actually does.
It's called speculoos.
Are you now immediately?
I call it speculoos.
Thank
And no
you,
one
yeah.
knows what I talk about.
It's called
don't know what it
speculoos. It's I think it's
That's Dutch,
Nordic.
right?
Yeah, Dutch. There we go. Sorry, not Nordic. It's Dutch. But it's caramelised sugar, cinnamon biscuits. You know the little ones that you.
biscuits.
Yes, you used to get them on,
Yeah,
on the side of
Lotus.
coffee cups. Yeah.
Yes, but it actually tastes so much like the biscuits.
There you go. You seem really surprised at this.
I know, but I know it's silly, but I was like, oh my god, it's so much.
Now,
like
if you don't have Biscoff spread, but you want to do a Biscoff base, can you just crush in some Biscoff biscuits?
You can do. Now, what I was going to say there is I would do that. So you could put those the Lotus Biscoff biscuits in, but I wouldn't do the whole lot because they're very caramelly and they've got a huge sugar content, so they would go quite tough. The reason we use digestives here, have you finished stirring this? Have you? Yeah,
sorry.
please do continue.
Stephen, am I adding the butter into the bowl of digestives, or am I putting the digestives into the butter in the saucepan?
Oh gosh, that's 6 to 1 and a half dozen of the other, I'm afraid.
Does it matter?
No, not really. As long as they meet.
Okay.
And give it a good stir. Nice and slowly, like Meredith.
I've got some stringy bits of Biscoff. Doesn't matter, does it?
No, that's fine. So that's lovely. So we've just stirred all the butter through. There we go. It's nice. Now, what you
I
could
think
do...
Hayley might be the loudest baker I've ever met.
I am being quite loud with my whisking and my stirring, my scraping.
So, if you could, obviously our listeners can't see, but we are going to have in our socials. We shall be putting sort of step-by-step photos on and what have you, and guides. Are you going to have it on your website?
This particular recipe is available on my website.
Right,
so if you go to stephencarterbailey.co.uk, you can search for the Biscoffy cheesecake recipe, but you can leave the coffee and Biscoff out if you want to. We're changing ours for Easter. So right now that you've got your lovely crumb, your wet sand, we're going to call it, because it's got butter and biscuits all crumbled up. Pour that into a spring form cake tin. Now, if you have
spring form,
because you're going to want to get the damping out. If you do it in just a regular cake tin, it will not come out.
That's what you'll be eating it out of.
Yeah, exactly. You just eat it out with a spoon.
Do I need to line it?
No, you shouldn't. No, that's because that's non-stick. If you don't have a non-stick one, you will need to line it with a little bit of baking parchment.
So, you know the bottom has got it goes up a little bit like that.
It's got a lip, yeah.
Yeah. Do you put it in like that, or do you put it in like that?
No, you put it in with the lip facing up.
really?
The lip up.
Yes.
Which bit is the top? The
Dear
one with
God,
the
she's
ridge?
worse than you, Meredith.
it's
Honestly, I
brilliant.
didn't think it was possible. Where the lip is on the outside, that's the top.
That's the top. I don't know whether this is going to be. Oh,
Is it too much?
I might have to use the other one.
Is it too much? No, that should be all right. You might just have a very full tin.
Gotta squish
So
it
what
down,
tin is
haven't
this
you?
called again?
This is a spring-formed or a loose-bottom cake tin.
And it opens. It's got like a hinge.
This has got a clip and a hinge on the side, but Hayley's has got one that you push up from underneath.
I normally pop it on a cup
Do you?
to when I get it out.
Oh, I
you know?
see. Sorry, yeah. Oh, you've jumped ahead. Right, okay, that's fine. We'll
No,
jump
I'm
ahead
just sort of
to when she's
telling
finished.
you what I'm going to do later.
Well, that's marvellous. I'm going to have to sit down and a cup of tea and probably a little bit of a cry, if I'm honest, after this.
I'm actually quite glad that I'm not baking along right now. I'm here for the
we just
support
sit- yeah.
though. I have got a
Dear
glass
listener,
of white
Natalie is
and
helping by drinking probably a lovely Australian Sauvignon Blanc.
Actually, I am. I keep on making faces at Natalie and going, "Is this right?" And she's.
Yeah, I can see you, Hayley. That's
Oh.
the problem. You're not being very subtle.
I forget we're recording and I'm like saying lip
Right.
out loud. So
what
sorry.
What we've done here,
Sorry.
Natalie. Now, Hayley has been doing this while going. Oh my God, she's gone into a blind panic.
We have got some bake-off questions for you, though,
sweating
but
so
let us know when you're ready for us to...
Should we make some cheesecake first?
I'm just pressing. Hold on, I'm just
No,
pressing.
don't panic, Hayley. I'm just worried that you are going to have a coronary in the middle of making what essentially is
panic.
just a dessert.
Oh God!
Okay, so what Hayley has done rather.
commitment to the cause. I mean, the whole...
I love it too.
so
I'm
much.
just not sure if she's baking or racing. What Hayley's done very, very, very quickly with a sweat is she's just gently compacted. Well, actually, she's probably compounded it into a lump. But just gently compacted the base down. Can you see?
Yeah.
And what we would do if we had some more time, but I mean, thanks to Hayley, we've got all the time in the world now because she's just finished. We would put this base in the refrigerator for probably about 10 to 15 minutes just to let that butter...
And the butter would set it.
It would set it. If you want that sort of lovely toasty flavour, you could put this in a 120 degree oven, 120 fan oven, for maybe 15 minutes just to re-toast it. But don't... It's not compulsory if you don't want to.
And if you've got Biscoff in
Yeah.
at that point, that's going to make it all caramelly.
It will do, yeah. So be very careful. It's a nice low oven for just a little bit. So that's our base. Oh, a lovely buttery biscuit base. Now what we've got here, now when I do a cheesecake, I do a cheesecake. I don't faff. Nothing is low fat.
Right.
And there are two reasons why we don't use anything low fat. One is because I think if you're at this point already, there's no point in trying to hold back.
Do you know what I think when I see the words low fat? Carcinogenic shitstorm.
Exactly. What have they put in
Fat
place?
is good.
Always go full fat and just have less of it if you can.
By the way, while we're here, I've just seen a photo on our Instagram page, the _Birds_store page, of Meredith in a gorgeous Flamingos Not Pigeons t-shirt.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. She's
looks very comfortable.
She's rocking it. She looks like a glamour model when she stands still. It's just when she moves and talks.
A glamour model, isn't that when naked?
Can I ask a really quick question as well?
Is it going to be quick though, or is it a Meredith
No,
question?
genuinely.
All
What's
right.
the difference between this sort of frigid cheesecake we're making and a baked cheesecake?
Frigid cheesecake we're mating.
What's the difference between the cheesecake we're making today, which is not a frigid cheesecake, a fridged cheesecake,
Yeah.
and a baked cheesecake?
Well, there's one real obvious difference, and that, Meredith, are you ready for this? The baked cheesecake is baked.
But can you put any cheesecake in the oven?
No, a baked cheesecake traditionally has eggs in it to set it. I personally don't like it. I find that the texture is too heavy and claggy, and sometimes it's a very American thing to do.
It's very rich, isn't it?
Yeah,
I've made a
very,
baked
very
cheesecake.
rich.
It's delicious, but you can't eat a lot of it.
No, for me, a cheesecake is this what we grew up with. You know, the Sara Lee stuff that your mum got out of the freezer on a Sunday, or occasionally she'd make one. But that. I prefer it this way because it's lighter, it's fresher, and you can taste the cream. For me, a baked cheesecake is eggy and heavy and claggy, and it's just
spongy.
Yeah, exactly.
My mum used to make this using curd.
Yeah, it's quite common.
Curd?
So, curd is a byproduct of making of splitting milk. So that's what they use to make cheese. Yeah. So, but lots of people do. So, Canadians will use poutine, which is a cheese curd, or Germans will use quark or cottage cheese. Yeah, Italians will use.
Don't the Canadians put poutine on chips?
Yeah, with gravy.
Yeah.
Actually, not that bad.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's just cheesy chips with gravy, basically. Right, so in our bowls we've got here double
Whipped
cream.
cream.
This is, and we've whipped it full fat whipped cream, please. Real cream, please.
What is Elmley? What is it?
Elmley is a cream substitute, and it's also disgusting.
Okay.
I mean, it's perfect. No, it's perfectly fine. You can whip it, and it will do exactly the same thing.
Not
it
a sponsorship from Elmley then.
No, not today, not on this episode. As long as you can whip it, that's fine. So what we've got here is soft peaked whipped cream. So it's not got. We haven't split it into butter, basically. And can you pass me the cream cheese, please, Meredith?
How much are we going to use?
So we're going to use that whole one of cream cheese. In fact, you do this because you're the one baking. So pop that in there. We're going to have 400.
How do I get extra close to my finger?
400 grams of Philadelphia.
Please don't use your finger.
So in total, how much cheese, mascarpone, cream?
Right, there's 300 millilitres, which is 300 grams of double cream.
Right.
400 grams of full-fat cream cheese and 200 grams of mascarpone.
But if you can't get mascarpone, you can use 600 grams of
cream cheese.
Cream cheese.
Yes, yeah. So in this case, Hayley's not using mascarpone, but we are. We're going to use mascarpone cheese. So we're going to use 200 grams. And again, this is just, it was this particular recipe that I designed, just sort of focused around using 3 different types of cream in there, just for the... Oh, sorry. Mind the overspray.
Is that for the
Do you
flavour?
have to drain that water? That.
Yeah, don't add that water in the bottom. Sorry.
What is that water that you get with cheese?
It's whey.
It's whey.
It's actually whey.
Oh,
Hayley's done something wrong. You okay, Hayley?
yeah. I've got whey in my cream cheesecake. Now, vanilla is next. The only vanilla I had in the cupboard was this.
Okay, yeah. Vanilla bean paste. Even better.
Oh!
Even better.
Oh, good. How much of that? The same amount?
The same amount. So vanilla bean paste is vanilla pods that have been used. They're ground up, including the seeds, into a fine dust, and they're suspended in a paste. So it's a little bit more intense than a vanilla extract. Sorry, vanilla essence is a flavouring. It's an artificial flavouring which changes when you heat it. So it's just disgusting. It's a bit like having saccharin versus sugar. It's not good for you, and I really wouldn't recommend it.
Stephen has a golden rule. You won't have anything fake or artificial or synthetic. So you'd rather leave something out.
If you didn't have vanilla extract, or you couldn't afford it, or didn't want to pay for it, or a vanilla bean pod or vanilla bean paste, don't bother putting it in. You will undermine the flavour of the cream cheese here. Natalie, in response to your question earlier, the reason I use 3 different types is cream cheese is sour. It's got a sourness to it, which is lovely. The whipped cream is light, is airy, because it brings air into this, and then the mascarpone is heavy and dense and rich and creamy. So you've got those. It's actually a balance in there somewhere, or in Hayley's case, she chooses all of the one thing.
We're mixing that all up together.
So we've mixed this all together. We've added our vanilla.
One teaspoon.
That's right. So Hayley's putting a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste in. We've put a teaspoon of vanilla extract in ours, and we've also got 175 grams of icing sugar.
Something smells amazing. I don't know.
Do you think it might be the cheesecake that's under your nose?
Yeah. Cheese on its own doesn't just smell like that. But no,
it does. Raw cheese.
Do you need to whisk the icing sugar?
We're not going
to whisk it. Sieve it.
I would if you can, but don't stress if you can't.
Oh.
Because I'm just worried about Hayley's stress level. That's all.
Oh, here we are, Pablo Escobar again.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't have as much icing sugar as I thought I did.
Okay. How much do you have?
That much.
Oh dear God, it's about a teaspoon. That's fine.
Because, a half.
Okay. Well, it's
she's sitting.
well done. Someone had to. I mean, it's not doing anything because it's so old. It's like trying to sieve granite.
No, I did actually. I bought it last week because I made Roger's lovely birthday cake that you saw
You
with
did.
the orange.
Yes, if
smashes
you
on.
do follow Hayley Clapham, voice artist, you would have seen her birthday cake for her husband. I thought she loved her husband.
I thought you were going to get
Is
really
this the carrot
upset
cake?
and uptight about the fact that you were meant to be the baker out of the poor calling birds.
I mean, I
Suddenly,
didn't want to intimidate you. You see, Stephen. So that's
Thank
why
you for
I played
not.
it down.
Oh,
Played it
right.
down.
Okay, that's the reason why. Okay. So, right, let's go back to it. So we are putting in here, we've got our cream cheese mixture and our sugar. And Natalie has wine and
and Ryan.
Now beer.
and Ryan. She's got wine and Ryan. I'm just going to get this out. So I'm just going to turn this over, right? Because Meredith is just staring at me blankly.
Well, I didn't know whether I should be whisking or making a noise or anything. I was
Oh,
frightened.
well, I'm
to
making a
touch
noise,
it.
so don't worry about it.
No, we can hear you, Hayley. So we're just turning this over. Sorry to the listeners. This is very much of an immersive experience. So we're just turning over that icing sugar in there. The reason we use icing sugar is because we don't want the graininess of caster sugar. We want it to dissolve in there. And we do want to naturally sweeten this. Now, this is the base of a cheesecake. This is your cheesecake base. So to this you can add anything you like.
Oh, when you say base, you don't mean like the base.
No,
as
not the
you
base
mean
that we did.
Like you mean...
Not the biscuit base.
This can be your default cheesecake.
This
You
is
can
a
add anything to it.
Buttery biscuit base. Yeah, that one. And then you add the cream cheese, or you cream your mixture on top with your icing sugar in. And that, you could just serve that with vanilla and have a vanilla cheesecake. Then you could put a fruit compote on top. You could put anything you like on top. But
Strawberries.
or you could add fruit if you're weird. I mean, she
I don't
says
like
necking
fruit.
her red
yeah,
wine.
I'm not into fruit and cheese. I mean, and I like a grape and cheese.
Well, you could pop a grape on top.
But
I don't mind what
I
you do.
quite like chocolate. I have to say, I'm really impressed Hayley's commitment with this. Now, 20 years ago, Hayley was made godmother to my daughter.
Yeah.
And my daughter is half Greek, so Hayley had to fully embrace being a Greek godmother, and she was amazing. But there was a lot of this tradition going on. So
Shouting over each other.
What's that,
shouting
cooking?
and baking,
Oh,
No,
no.
just shouting and...
candle carrying.
I remember the candle carrying.
Yeah, the candle carrying, and you had to go a certain amount of times around the
Oh,
baby.
how I kept it together.
So you spit at them as well.
No, you cut a bit of their hair,
Oh
which is
dear.
just dreadful. And
What,
then
their
you
lip
sort of-
hair?
As a baby.
Yes, their lip hair. But yes, they're
Yes, as a baby.
And then they're both fully immersed. My kids were both 10 months when they got christened.
Oh, they're a little older, aren't they?
And you're not allowed to, well, that was my choice, but you're not, as the mother, of course, I mean, what relevance does a mother have in Greek tradition, is not allowed to touch their child for 3 days.
I wouldn't have a problem with that, as you know. Right.
Well, that's what they told me.
Back to our cheesecake. So we are making an
Back to
Easter
our
cheesecake,
cheesecake.
and what we've got here is we've already got leftover Easter egg here. So this is going to be our...
From last Easter.
Yes, it was a little white,
A bit furry.
bit furry. Oh, I love the way she says furry. Say it again, off of
Furry.
Wales.
Furry.
Furry.
Very.
Furry.
I was buying Easter eggs in January because I thought, well, lockdown, fuck it, I'm going to have Easter eggs. So I've had Easter eggs in the cupboards since about...
I was given a tin of 8 cream eggs from work yesterday.
Oh.
And I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I think I might try
I'll
and
tell
make
you
a
what I'd like
cocktail
to do with them,
the-
and you're not
the,
involved in it.
cream eggs. Let me
I
guess
don't
who
like
is.
cream
Steve.
I don't like cream eggs.
No, I find
No, I
that-
had one today.
As I get
They're
older.
so-
Yeah, they're
So
really
sweet.
sweet, yeah.
burns
I
my
do
throat.
like the
like-
homoerotic
I don't have
cream
a
eggs
very.
out.
I don't have a very
Oh, yeah.
sweet tooth.
No, but a wine, perfect. I can have
Yes,
a lot
I
of
have
that.
wine too.
So what we've got here, okay, so in here we've got, I melted this together. I used a bain-marie.
What's a
Yeah.
bain-marie?
Now, bain-marie is French for Mary's bath, and basically it is a pot suspended over simmering water. And what that does is it creates an ambient, warm environment in that pot without adding direct heat.
Now,
And what happened?
Stephen,
Yes, madam.
I've got my bain-marie going at the moment. I'm melting.
Have you really?
100. I have, yeah.
Have you
I'm
actually
not joking.
got a bain-marie?
Oh, she has. Yeah, she has actually got one. Oh, it's fancy.
That's good.
So what? So just dear listener, what Hayley's got is barely simmering water in a pan with a glass heat-proof bowl and very expensive chocolate.
She's got Willy's.
She's got Willie's chocolate. Well
My
done.
dad
Chef's
is a
drop.
massive.
Chef's
My
drop.
dad is a massive chocolate fan, and he sends me Willies all the time. He does.
Okay.
I had a dad like that one.
I'm always getting a box of Willies.
No, it's Daddy.
I had
sorry.
a load of chocolate Willy's. in my
Daddy.
Right.
God, this is an Easter episode.
God, actually, we should talk about traditions.
No,
of
let's not
Easter.
talk about God. I can't.
No, we
I
should
can't.
talk about Easter traditions because we're not.
Can I have my chocolate first?
Yes.
Can we just finish the cake? Can we finish
Yeah,
the
all right.
cake?
Yeah.
Now,
All right. Okay.
Stephen,
Yeah.
is it okay to add... Now, that chocolate there on the bain-marie is warm.
Yes.
Is it okay to add the warm chocolate to this sort of creamy cheese mix? Will it split?
I think on this case it will be fine. How hot is it?
Well, it's just like a very low rumble.
I think for the purposes of the listener, I would say that you've done it, but don't
Yes.
do it yet. Let it just take it off the heat and let it come back to
Okay.
a very. If you can't hold your finger in it for more than sort of 5 seconds, it's too hard. So if you
I've
put
got
your head in it
asbestos
and lick, is it really warm?
It's tasty.
Wrong question.
It's... I mean, I don't look like I've got enough.
Well, no,
I
because
don't look like I've got enough.
well, no, that's fine because we've got here about 300 grams of chocolate because that's what we had. But the thing with this
It
mix
says
is,
125 in the mix.
yeah, that's your that was just the amount I put in that recipe. But you can add more or less. This is what I love about
okay.
these sorts of recipes is that you can just add all sorts of bits and pieces in there. So in here, right, I'm going to interrupt all three of you. I'm pouring the chocolate in. This is called melted. We've got some milk chocolate and dark chocolate in here.
I'm pouring it in.
Cheap supermarket, cheap.
Yeah, this was cheap eggs, like that we've melted. I'm just going to add it into our cream mix here.
I did use expensive Willies because it was in my cupboard, and if I'm 100% honest, I don't know how long it's been in there.
But as Stephen said, your base is your base. What you add. So the fact that you're adding less Willies than we're adding, you'll just have slightly lighter in colour. I mean, she's got the Biscoff to make it cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap, sweet, even.
Cheap and sweet.
But also, the Willies is really strong. It's super, super strong.
That's why I cut this particular one with some milk chocolate to counteract that sort of very intensely dark chocolate. So I've got the chocolate in here. I'm just going to stir it through, and I'm not actually going to stir it completely. Can you see I'm marbling it
Oh, look at you!
off of 80s? It's like something out of an Enya video, doesn't it?
Can you show us on the camera?
Can you see?
Oh,
I'm going to
Producer
marble
Jeremy,
mine.
could you take a photo of that?
I'm going to marble mine.
Oh, Hayley's marbling hers.
Oh my word!
Hayley.
It looks so
Show
good.
us. That does look
Oh,
incredible.
Hayley, well done.
That is good. Oh my gosh!
Are you getting photos?
I'm surprised at my own.
Hayley, no
I'm
one's more
looking for
surprised
my-
than I am right
I'm
now.
looking for my phone, and it's here.
That's what I just did.
Right. So we've got.
take a picture.
Our,
Also
all right, you
screen
take a picture.
recording.
Whilst you do that, I'm going to leave. I think. So we've got our buttery biscuit base
Yes.
out of the refrigerator, and we're going to add in
Oh,
Meredith. You notice with Meredith, I have just taken over. It's so
Meredith
much
has
quicker.
done a stitch of work.
Not today.
This is kind of how I got through the 90s.
And
I know, I was
childbirth.
your friend in the 90s.
I was the receptionist.
Right, we're just going to add the lot, and then
This
Jeremy
does
can
look
lick the
amazing.
bowl out.
Did you lick a lot of spoons in Bake Off?
I avoided eating food in the tent purely because it had been sat lying around for a long time. So it wasn't actually that nice, to be honest. And it's not. Also, I was very aware of the fact that I was being filmed. So what you don't want is to be caught licking a spoon that ultimately Prue's going to have a good old tongue wag around.
So what happens to all the cakes?
To be honest, a lot of it gets thrown away because by the time it gets to the point where we could eat it, it's actually inedible.
Right.
It's just been sat out for too long. It's too warm, especially if it's got dairy products in it.
That's such a shame, though.
I know, of all the things as well. I mean, I'm about to do a fundraiser for the Trussell Trust, which is all about food wastage. And for the first year that I did it, the year that I was on the Bake Off, a lot of the food, I'd say 60% of the food that wasn't eaten was actually popped into big plastic bins and taken up to Prue's pigs. She has pigs on her farm in the Cotswolds. But they were getting diabetes, so she had to stop.
Now, really interesting. What I thought you'd melted this chocolate completely.
Mm-hmm.
But what it now looks like is so beautiful. It's like, is it Stracciatella, that amazing ice cream that you get that has like tiny chips of chocolate?
Stracciatella, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Gelato.
This is why Stephen's a Bake Off champion, because
who can put up with this shit?
Well, aside from putting up with this shit, you have just done. You don't even need a spirit measure for the topping that Stephen has done on this cake. It's so neat and tidy.
Mine is a little bit.
Just for the record, Hayley, if you could pop a picture of that on your Instagram.
And then,
It's a little bit full.
So what we've got here, we've got our cheesecake, the flat top. We're going to pop that in the refrigerator, and do you know what? We probably want a good 12 hours on that.
right.
If we can, 4 hours will do it. You just want to reset all of the cold ingredients. Now, we started with cold ingredients, so it shouldn't take that long. But whilst it's still a little bit viscous, or a little bit not quite as cold, we're going to decorate the top. Now, what have we got here, Meredith?
We have got, well, there were no mini eggs. I mean, can you
Third
imagine?
time you've mentioned
No
this
mini
today,
eggs. Yeah, but
yeah.
I'm really quite cross about it. So it doesn't. We were talking about not being religious, but why we like Easter.
Mm-hmm.
And tradition for me is mini eggs, the smell of them. So I'm quite disappointed about mini eggs, because that to me.
I think for me, producer Jeremy and I went for a lovely walk the other day when we were talking about the time of year and why we loved it so much. And we got onto the subject of Easter. So this time of year, it's about spring and renewal. There's fresh dewiness in the air, and there are blossoms on the trees. Everything smells sort of like it's warming up and getting ready for another warm year. And for me, that's what represents Easter. Is it's always warm, it's always sunny, warm with a cool, crisp air, and Easter morning breakfast is always hot cross buns, bacon and eggs, scrambled eggs, lots of orange juice, and an Easter egg. You have to eat your Easter egg at the breakfast table. And so for me, Christmas just gone, no one was really bothered about who was where at what day. But Easter, my sister rang me and said, "You are coming to ours for Easter, aren't you?" Yes, of course I am. As if to say I couldn't possibly go anywhere else, because Easter is about getting together at breakfast and, eating an Easter egg. And I know it seems silly, but that's, for me.
No, I think it's lovely. It's tradition.
These are traditions that we do. I know that we've lost the religious connotation around these sorts of things, which for me doesn't bother me. But we still come together and we still sit and eat and put lurid coloured eggs on cheesecake. That's our tradition.
I think tradition is an Easter egg hunt as well.
I do love an Easter egg hunt. Here you go.
I was Easter egg hunting with my kids until they were well up for an Easter egg hunt until quite late on.
Right, are we
We're decorating.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Stephen was saying that ideally you need 12 hours in the fridge before you decorate.
Ideally, yes.
But
So what are you decorating yours with? Hayley's gone for the full grater.
I am grating a bit of Terry's chocolate orange.
I'm not going to lie, it looks a bit like a car tyre.
Because chocolate orange is my favourite.
Oh, there you go. And this is what I mean. This is very much you do whatever you want. Come on, Meredith, let's
quite
do.
Eastery as well to have the orange zest because of the citrus peel in hot cross.
Oh, what are the things? The Christingles. Should we put
right.
some on here?
Well,
Do you want
I was
to,
sort
Meredith?
of hoping that you would lead the way because you're the artistic one, but I'm going to just go for it.
Yeah? Not there.
Not there.
Whilst the birds are decorating their cheesecakes, let's recap the recipe and instructions. 250 grams of digestive biscuits crushed up with 100 grams of melted butter. Now, you can use a heaped tablespoon of Biscoff paste in this mixture if you so wish. For your cheesecake filling, 400 grams of full fat cream cheese, 200 grams of mascarpone cheese, 300 millilitres of double cream, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 175 grams of icing sugar. Whip your double cream with your icing sugar and vanilla until you have soft peaks. Mix together the mascarpone cream and the full fat cream cheese. Once combined, fold everything together and layer this in your tin on top of the biscuit base. Pop your cheesecakes in the fridge for 4 to 8 hours, ideally overnight. We will see you tomorrow. It's 24 hours later, birds, and our cheesecakes have set nicely, are firm to the touch and feeling cool. And I think we've decorated ours already.
Yeah, and
But
funnily
let's
enough,
talk a
ours
little bit about.
ours is considerably smaller.
There's a little mouse by the looks of it, Meredith, that's
great
stole
big
half
rat.
of your.
I've got to say, I'm really jealous that I didn't make a cheesecake. And
You were there for moral
I was-
support, though,
I
Natalie.
was
You were
there-
giving me thumbs up
Got
galore.
hot cross buns,
Yeah,
though.
I did enjoy the wine, but yeah, I'm in awe of both of your cheesecakes, and I really would love a piece.
I would give all the cheesecakes in the world, Natalie, to have Ryan bring me a glass of wine.
I'd like
That's all I'm
Ryan
going to
to
say.
bring
Just
me
going
a
to say that.
hot cross bun. Your mum made hot cross buns.
They were
sourdough hot cross
amazing.
buns.
They were
Were they
delicious.
sourdough as well?
Sourdough hot cross buns. They were delicious. Yeah, very nice.
So our
Anyway,
cheesecakes,
digress.
we decorated ours with, well, Meredith sort of, it was a technicolour of whatever we could find in the supermarket, really, wasn't it? We couldn't find, sadly, we couldn't find mini eggs, but if you do want to put decorations on top, please don't follow the rule book. Please don't be coerced into doing something that Nigella does. Do what you want to do. This is a problem with, I think, for me, with cooking and baking, is that we often feel very confined and we're taught to do something that so we feel we can't break away from that. This is your cheesecake. I draw the line at Marmite, but you know, if you want to drizzle Nutella on top, broken up bits of Easter egg, or whatever you want to do, I think that it's all about, you know, making sure that nothing goes to waste and it becomes a very personal thing. But I will say, Meredith, although we did win a prize for creativity, I think when it comes to class and just being chic, I think just genuinely being chic, I think the award goes to Hayley.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Despite
love
the
it.
Elm Lee, it was.
I know,
absolutely-
there was the bit of Elmini.
But I'm going to be bitter about this because you had mini eggs.
Thought you might be.
I did have mini eggs. I decorated mine. I grated some Terry's chocolate orange over it. Which is my favourite. And then I put Aero mini eggs, chocolate Aero mini eggs, and I did a mix with chocolate with normal mini eggs. And I've got to say, guys, it was absolutely lush.
It's on your socials, isn't it? All the photos are on the socials. Now, we
It's
did
on my
decorate.
socials.
We did decorate last night, but Stephen, you did say 12 hours later. 24 hours later.
Well, 12 to 24 hours later in the refrigerator will just set it nicely. But, I mean, I'm making a cheesecake for a friend. And this is, we've talked about this, this cheesecake. And he has said, I just want to play cheesecake. And I'm not giving it to him until we can meet in person. So there's a lot of discussion going on around this cheesecake that I'm making for him. And I've said, do you want a flavour on it? He said no, and I have to respect that he just wants plain vanilla
I
cheesecake.
love a plain
but,
cheesecake.
But I am going to take him a selection of, we've got to call them drizzles and sprinkles. So I'm going to make a passion fruit curd, a salted caramel drizzle, a chocolate fudge sauce,
bougie.
praline hazelnuts, these things, because I want him to sit. I want him to sort of experience what he could have. I think he's never had anything excellent on a cheesecake.
What are you
So I think I'm
taking
gonna
all the drizzles in? Are you doing it all like a hamper? And because knowing you,
in my
it would be-
hands, actually, I'm going to carry them in my hands, and he's going to drink them like a horse
asked
with a
for that,
nose bag.
But I can just imagine it's not just going to be
No, I've got
rocking
a
up in a just a bit of Tupperware and a bit of foil over the top like I would. Stephen
wouldn't even put the foil on top.
No, Stephen leaves my house, and as he goes from wherever he's been to the door, he will pick up things that need cleaning, and rather than saying it needs cleaning, he'll say, really good way of getting that to look nice again is
to wash it.
yeah.
And I leave a little handy hint.
And then off he goes, down away he goes. And I'm
Last
left
night
there
it was
feeling
a
grubby
silver
and
trinket
used.
last night. It was a silver trinket, and I said, if you pop this in boiling water with tin foil and soda crystals, it will clear that right up, Meredith. Just mentioning it.
But then
Just
you will have to
casually.
wrap it.
You will have to actually put some effort into it, and that's when she loses interest.
Yeah, that's when I glazed over. I was like, what's that? Oh, disappointed. But, go on, how are you presenting this? It will be beautiful.
The cheesecake will be presented on a white
Gingham.
cake board. No, just a white cake board in a cake box with my monogrammed stamp on the side. And there will be a selection of little white... They are white plastic boxes, but they're little food sample boxes, and
That are
he can
monogrammed.
I will monogram them, obviously. I mean, it has my monogram sticker on top, and he can then use the little plastic spoons, which, by the way, are recyclable, and he can drizzle a little bit over each one.
I think that's a really good idea for a dinner party if someone wanted to order a cheesecake. And you never...
From Stephen.
Well,
Yeah.
ideally from Stephen. And you could say, well, make it plain, but if you could give a selection of drizzles, everyone then gets to choose. I
Which
would
one of my drizzles
absolutely
would you
go
like?
for chocolate. No, it would be hazelnut. No, it would be Nutella, something like that. I have to...
Which is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Passion
Being
fruit
just
as well.
Well, passion fruit curd I've been playing with recently, so I'm into that right now.
I've never made a cheesecake before that I've mixed. I've always made a plain cheesecake before, and it was the first time that I've sort of marbled it with melted chocolate, and it just looks so amazing. It's so pretty when you take it out of the tin. Although I've got to say, that was well hairy getting it out of the tin. I mean, not literally hairy, but you know, just getting it out of the tin. I put it on the glass and the sides went down, and then it was like, oh fuck, what do I do now? It's like, now I've got to get it on the... Oh God, this is all going to go really wrong.
Thank you so much to my lovely birds here for helping me with this cheesecake. And if you want to make your own cheesecake, then please do visit my website, stephencarterbailey.co.uk. You will find the cheesecake recipe, but I do implore you, do what we did today and put your own twist on these things. And we will see you soon.
Yes, and happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Enjoy
happy Easter.
enjoy your cheesecake over the Easter weekend.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.